live. Yay! Hey, ladies. So we are on to part three, week three of New Consultant Training Live. It's over the shadow. Let me move it. Okay. You know, I got the sunlight in the background. Okay, we'll try to work it out. All right, so welcome, and I'm really excited to have you guys join me again. So this is part three. So for some of you, this is your third week, and some of you, this might be your very first week. So we're on a 6-week program. Just so that you know, the New Consultant Training Live is going to be a 6-week program. And so if you're coming in on week three, we'll kind of go back around. You'll wrap it up by doing week one and two. And so we'll just kind of keep rotating every single week, Tuesdays at noon Eastern time at a half hour. And then there's always going to be some homework that I'll share with you at the end for you to do throughout the week, really at your own pace and on your own time. And be sure that you share that with me. And I'm actually going to be working to wrap up today. This is my main work day, Tuesday. So if you ever need to really like have a good long chat or meet with me if you're local, this is a great day because my mom watches my daughter. Josiah's in kindergarten, so he's at school, but my mom watches my daughter for me all day, and I usually go pick her up right before dinner time, or sometimes even after dinner time, and so it's just a really great opportunity for me to just have like a power day, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And then the neat thing, just to give some of you a vision, if you have kids or grandkids, or if you want kids in the future, if you're like, I ain't thinking about kids yet, but you do know you want kids in the future, oh my goodness, Mary Kay gives us just the most amazing opportunity to really have the best of both worlds. So today is my full-on power day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is my mommy day. And so it's my day that I actually catch up on things just around the house, because part of the reason why I'm a Mary Kay director and really built my business and put in the extra time and went for it when it was tough and kept emotionally going even when I felt like quitting. I kept going. And some of the reason why is because I had in my vision the life that I now have the privilege of leading, with having the best of both worlds. And so I wanted to definitely, and it's still in my heart, I want to make sure my home and my family is first on my heart. My friendships, my relationships, and of course my relationships with each of you. But my family, my home, is what I want to make sure is first in my heart. And so my mommy day is on Wednesdays, and those are the days I do play dates. Those are the days that, we go to the zoo or we go to the library, and sometimes I just stay home and I like reorganize the kids' playroom, or I like tomorrow I'm going to be signing my son up for the soccer and for baseball, and I'm like, okay, that will be happening on Wednesday. That's my mommy day. I make meals for the week if I need to. I go grocery shopping. It's just a really, really great day. So today is my work day, and you can create and design the life that you like, that is best for you. And then on Mondays, just so you know, at the New Consultant, Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm sorry, Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays, I still do work. I actually work during that time in the morning, and then I do have a babysitter that comes for about 3 hours right after Josiah gets out of school, usually from like 3 to 6, and then on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and those are my work hours as well. Nap time, and then like right after school, and then after the kids go to bed. So I can kind of create those pockets of time to work, and whether you have kids or not, you have stuff going on in your life. You have other things that you're working on. You have family. You have other obligations. You have other commitments, or a full-time job, or school, or something like that. And so just how I kind of create, I work during that time. That's my season of life. You might be like, well, I have a 2-hour block of time, lunch break. That's when I work. Or that's before class starts, or we all find these pockets of time. So I do encourage you. We talked a little bit more about this actually in week one, where we talked about making a weekly plan sheet. And I encourage you, most of you actually filled that out, and you took a picture of it and sent it to me. And I would love to see that every single week. You can definitely send that to me. It's a great habit to get into, of filling out a weekly plan sheet, and getting a plan for yourself for that week, just for life. It's just helpful for life. So that's kind of what we talked about in week one. We talked about ways to make money, and weekly plan sheet. I gave you guys a sales challenge. Congratulations, by the way, to Jeanette Hovis, who placed her very first order. She did some of these sales challenges and really worked hard and got her very first order in yesterday. So congratulations, Jeanette. I'm pretty sure you're watching right now. And so really, really proud of you and can't wait to congratulate more of you as well. Okay, so part two, last week we talked about new consultant prizes and programs. We talked about some of the prizes you can get as a new consultant, such as the Pearls of Sharing. We talked about the Power Start Ring, which is your first 30 faces in 30 days, and you get that ring when you do that, just as a new consultant. And then we also talked about the Gen X program, which is our national area program. And we also talked about the STAR Consultant Program, which is all of anyone in Mary Kay does the STAR Consultant Program. It's a quarterly sales goal challenge where you get prizes and recognition and all sorts of fun stuff for hitting that sales challenge. So we right now are in our third quarter of Mary Kay, the third STAR quarter. Quarter started December 16th and ends March 15th. And so, so that's something that we really want to shoot for. So be sure you look up the information about that on Mary Kay in Touch and also ask me any questions about that too. Okay, so moving on then to this week, we're talking about working full circle and also booking and scheduling. So I want to start off with working full circle, and then I will get into a skill that has to do with booking. Part of your homework last week was to actually listen to the audio about that I did a couple years ago. Maybe it was just a year ago. I don't remember now, but it was like detailed how to book parties, like what to say, how to set up, how to think about it. That was your homework from last week. So I know I didn't hear from some of you that you did that. But today I'm going to talk to you about a kind of a random skill that as I've been in Mary Kay longer, been a director and teaching girls, I found that a skill that we sometimes forget to teach, and I'm really going to start to teach this, is actually how to schedule something, because that is a make or break skill. And I want to be sure and go over that with you today. So not just somebody say, yes, I'll do a party for you, but how do you actually get the dates? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so to start off with, I want to talk about something that we call working full circle. Working full circle, grab my notes here. Working full circle is a term that we talk about at Mary Kay that means you like tap out every avenue of income in your Mary Kay party. So there's different ways to make money. There's sales. There's following up and getting reorders from your customers. There's like outside sales, people who don't necessarily come to parties, but they want to purchase things. And there's also team building. And so we want to make sure that at your party you're setting all of that up. So to work full circle, here would be your results. Okay, if you're totally working the full party, you're like on it, working it. You want to get these results, and I call it 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. All right, there's 4 2s. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. You got that? All right, so here's what that stands for. At the end of a party, you want to have $200 in sales, minimum. You want to have 2 pages of referrals, minimum. These are all like what you can get, definitely more. You want 2 career surveys booked when you leave that party. And you want 2 new parties booked when you leave that party. Our average party has 5 girls. So $200 in sales, 2 pages of referrals, 2 career surveys booked with dates, and 2 new bookings with dates. That would be working at full circle. So that's where your mind is. Like, what should I accomplish at the end of a party? That's it. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, working full circle. And, you know, when you first do your first couple of parties, you know, if you don't hit all of those things, don't worry about it. Just talk to me. We will get it figured out. And it just takes practice. I'll tell you, when I was a new consultant, I got a couple of these like right away. And then a couple of them, it was a learning process. And now I can get it all, right? But you know, when I was a new director, I was still working on a couple of these. Okay, so you do not have to have it perfect and all together in order to move up. believe me, you just gotta do a lot of parties. You gotta just do like consistently 3 parties a week if you want to move up to become a director. That's just like the way that it is. But if you don't want to become a director, you can of course do whatever fits your pace. But 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, no matter what your end goal is, director or not, you want to get that result and tap out your party. Okay, so that's working full circle. And one of the things that I learned, I remember when I was first building my business, I actually have these notes that I took. I did a training with my unit a few years ago, and I took my notes from when I was a new consultant, and I created this training. So when I was like more around your stage, I kind of looked at, or just past that new consultant stage, I kind of looked at how was I thinking in order to build my business, in order to build to a place where I could earn a car, to build my confidence to a place where I can move up and recruit girls to my team, to build my skills, to build my business so I could work full circle. What was the way that I thought about my business? And this is one of the things that I found is that number one, building a business, it just takes time. So I allowed myself to be patient with my growth. And I found with my consultants now on my team that everybody has their own journey. So just be patient, but building a business takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. To build a business, you do need 3 things. You need the skills, so actually learning what to say. The whole thing about a skill-based business is that you don't have to naturally be good at it. It's not like if you're a basketball player, like you better be athletic. I used to actually play tennis. So the difference between tennis and basketball, if you play basketball, like you better be naturally athletic. Like you just kind of got it. Okay, so I have a new team member, Courtney, who is a basketball player. So she's like got that athleticism. Now I play tennis, and you do have to have a certain amount of athleticism, but really what you've got to have is you've got to learn the skill. So I actually had girls on my tennis team who were quite good, who really weren't athletic. They just learned the skill. Golf is somewhat the same way. Now, getting to the pro levels, probably something different. But like high school, whatever, is what I'm talking about. But you learn the skill. So the instructor said you start your arm here and you swing it like this. You low to high, and I seriously teach my 18-month-old like how to do it, and she can do it. Okay, it's like a skill. It's like you can hold it this way, to hold this way, and if you do it enough times over and over, you get the motion, and you can learn the footwork, and you can learn certain things in a game like tennis. And that's how Mary Kay is. You can learn a skill. You can have a coach who says, this is what you say. And if you do it over and over, you're going to get it. You don't have to have this it factor, okay? So building a business takes skills, and that's why you're on this webinar right now. It takes consistency. Like anything else that you're doing, you need to do it over and over a consistent period. Face by face by face, you are going to build your business. Consistency. And then persistence. So you have to have skill, consistency, and persistence. And I think of persistence, I think of doing it whether you feel like it or not, doing it whether you see the result right away or not. You just stick with it. You keep going. Successful people become problem solvers. And that's really the way that I thought of as a new consultant in my business, as I was working full circle. When things didn't go right, I wasn't like, throw up my hands, like, this thing doesn't work, or like, what's wrong with me? And, I didn't think things that way, although I did have those thoughts sometimes, but I kind of dismissed them, and I thought, there's a solution to this problem, because I can see that this girl and this girl's doing it. So if she can do it, I can do it. What does she have that I don't have? Right? Like that's true. We can do this. And so I became a problem solver, and I started asking my director for my questions. And this isn't quite working. Like, here's what I'm saying. She'd say, oh, we'll tweak that. Here's what you should try saying instead. I'd be like, okay, got it. I would ask a lot of questions and become a problem solver instead of a like, this isn't working kind of a mindset. So we need skills, consistency, and persistence. Building a business takes time, and building a business takes problem solving. So those are just some of the ways that I thought. about my business. And so when it comes to the skills, here's what we're going to talk about right next, right? Is actually booking. So again, you want to go on our new consultant Pink Bootcamp website, that part of our new consultant page, and that has the audio for how to book a party. If you haven't listened to it yet, go ahead and listen to that. Some of you might even want to listen to it a couple of times. But when you're booking, here's what you want to do. Here's a couple of tips here. And I actually just made a YouTube video last week. The 6-minute video, I made it right after I made my booking calls, and I gave some tips about just like how you should make your voice sound and just like little things like that. So check that out too. There's a lot of that could give you a ton of booking tips. But one of the things that you're going to want to do is of course have your contact list. And one of the tips that I give actually in that video is that I created my contact list, A, B, and C. A list, people I know they would support me and they'd have a party. B is more like acquaintances. These are going to be your best hostesses. Okay, your B list. Your B list are more like your Facebook friends, your mutual friends, your acquaintances, people that you work with, girls from your Bible study, that kind of thing. These are going to be the people that the party that they had, the very first party that they had, they're going to introduce you to brand new people. So they're your best hostesses. They're going to network for you without even realizing it from their very first party. They're also, because they maybe don't know you, like, they're not like your best friend, they're going to take you a little bit more seriously, and they're going to look at you as more of a professional. So sometimes the A group, they're like, like I know when I did a party with my sisters, they're like, we know you don't know anything about makeup. Okay, so they knew that. But my B group, one of my first parties was with a co-teacher that I like knew her. She was on my team, my special ed team that I worked with, but I never like hung out with her at all outside of school. Like I rarely even talked to her in school besides our meetings. But I asked her to hold a party for me to help support me, and she was like, sure. And so she right away had a party with her neighbors and her family and introduced me to like 8 new people, right like that. It was my first like official party outside of my sisters that I had, and I met 8 new people, networked, referrals, got a new team member from that party right there. So those, like, that B list is going to be your best hostesses, and then your C list is your chicken list. So my other tip for you is start at the top of your list and just like do it. Just call or text, just start at the top and just go down the line, because believe me, you can make excuses for every single person. Have you done this yet before? Where it's like, I better not call this person or text this person because, and so I just sort of like stop thinking and just like click the buttons. I literally will be like, even out today, I'll be like, press the button, like click the number and press send. Like just press send. That's what I'll say to myself. And so that's one of my booking tips for you. And then of course to use a script. And what I found after talking to a lot of new consultants, and I talked in detail about this in that audio, but a lot of the new consultants, when you're booking, and I felt the same way. Like I felt uncomfortable. I felt like kind of awkward using a script. Now, when I was calling my sisters, I didn't use a script, okay? But when I was calling, like, the co-teacher, or I was calling, I remember my roommate, best friend, my previous roommate before I got married, her best friend, when I was calling my husband's best friend, I called his sister that I met like twice at a cookout that we had been at. And so I asked his best friend for her number, and when I called her, I used a script, okay? And I felt very uncomfortable, like weird even using it, because it wasn't natural to me. But, I think about like when you go to Chick-fil-A, when you go to McDonald's, don't they have their certain exact phrases? Like if you go to Chick-fil-A, they say my pleasure, like all the time. Now I would assume, like if I started working at Chick-fil-A, I would be like, this sounds really weird when you be like, my pleasure. Like I would almost like laugh when I said it at first. And I would just be like, that's not something that I say. But that phrase has set Chick-fil-A apart. That phrase has made that company millions of dollars. And so you best believe that the people who work there are supposed to say it. And it's the same thing in Mary Kay. that when we start Mary Kay, we don't really feel comfortable sometimes saying those phrases at first, but it's made thousands of women thousands of dollars. And so we say it. We just do it. And I talked to some new consultants before. I remember that one of my newer team members who I absolutely love. Her name is Audrey, and she's still on my team. She was on my team 7 years ago, maybe 8 years now. And she told me that when she was laughing, she was like, when I was a new consultant, she's like, I never told you this, but I was making my booking calls and I had a script and I felt really uncomfortable with it. So she's like, I was trying to like kind of like add things in to like make sure it was clear to her what I was saying, and make sure that she felt comfortable. And she's like, my friend actually like interrupted me and was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I was saying so much that she didn't even know what I was talking. Like she could not comprehend what I was even asking her. And we had a good little laugh about that. I was like, you know what, we all like do those funny things at first, but I want to help you get faster to your results. And so stick with the script. And Audrey told me, she's like, when I did that, I realized I just need to stick with the script. It works. It helps our words to not be too long or too short, because both are confusing. Both confuse people. If you don't say enough, it's confusing. If you say too much, it's confusing. And a confused mind does nothing. So let me get to the scheduling part, because what's going to happen whether you're booking through a phone call or through text, which by the way, let me say, either is fine. I have a pattern of I will, if I can, I will just call, but I have a pattern usually of I text everybody first, and then if they don't answer, they will respond within a day or two, I will call them. And if they don't, and I don't leave a message. If it's somebody that I know pretty well, I'll just be like, hey girl, it's Allison, can you give me a call back? That's my message. I will never be like, let me ask you to have a party. So I'll just be like, hey girl, it's Allison, I have something to run by you real quick, you give me a call back tonight. Bye. And then if she still doesn't answer, and this happens, I do this to people every once in a while without meaning to. It's like you look at your text, you're busy doing something, and then it's like, oh, I'll text her back when I'm out of the grocery store, out of the checkout line, or I don't know, something. And then you totally forget to ever text them back. So please know that your fortune is in the follow-up. Don't think I can only call her one time, because I cannot tell you how many times people will tell me, girls will tell me, they're like, thank you for calling me back. Or I'm so glad you texted again. I meant to text you back. And I said that to people. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you texted me again, because I completely forgot to text you and I meant to. So give people the benefit of the doubt and don't overthink it. Your fortune truly is in the follow-up. So I will text them, and then a day or two later I will call them, and then if they still don't answer within a day or two, I'll text them one more time, and then I'll cross them off my list if they don't respond. So once I call, say I texted them, and when you text, just be prepared for this. Okay, I want you to really listen. We have about 5 minutes left, so tune in. When you text, you are going to have, I'm going my teacher mode, you are going to have a longer process of scheduling, of getting a date or time. Not always, but usually. Okay, so I want you to think about when you text with somebody, don't you sometimes you're texting and then you have to go into work, or you're meeting someone for dinner and then you have to wait 2 hours till you're out of the dinner to really like text them back, okay? So that's what's going to happen, is you're going to have people who respond and then you don't hear from them for 2 hours, sometimes a whole day. I made text bookings the other day, and I got like 2 or 3 messages back like 30 hours later. It was like a day and a half later, okay, that I got some messages back from girls who were like, oh hey, they're like, yeah, I want to get together for my facial, just like I texted them 5 minutes ago, but I'd actually texted them like a day and a half ago. Okay, and I was about to call them again. So just know it's going to be none of that doesn't happen with everybody, but it's going to be a longer process, and you will get, you're texting with them and they'll say yes, and then you'll be asking your next question to schedule, which I'll get to in a minute, and then you won't hear back from them right away. You might have to send them a text like an hour later and say, hey, just was wondering if you got my text, and they'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I meant to text you back. Okay, so just know you're going to have to do more follow-up and you're going to have to keep track. I always have a separate sticky note when I do text booking that has follow-up on it. I love sticky notes. So I put on that sticky note everybody's name that has started a conversation with me but hasn't finished. And I put a little note beside her name, okay, so I can remember what was going on. And I will text them again. And I will just say something just simple like, hey, just was wondering if you got my last text. Hey girl, hope everything's going okay. When did you get my last text? Okay, that's it. Um, so yeah, so that's what happens with text. If you want to get bookings fast, you're gonna want to call because when in the phone call it takes about 4 to 6 minutes depending on how talkative they are, and you're gonna get the whole thing done in that like 4 to 6 minute phone call. And I use a script, and the script tells you exactly what to do and what to say. So if you want bookings fast, then phone may feel scarier to you, but it gets the job done a lot faster. And I think that you also build some good rapport with people through the phone because they can hear your voice a little bit better. So that's another good thing about it. They can hear your excitement. Okay, so let's get to the actual scheduling as we wrap up. Those are the pros and cons of texting. The good thing about texting is that you can do it while, like, I do it oftentimes when my husband's driving and I'm in the passenger seat, or my kids are in the background. You can do it while you're at a basketball game. You know, you can do it. You can text anytime, which is really nice. And you can do a whole bunch at once. But it is going to take you a little bit more time and more tracking and more follow-up. So just be prepared for that. And you'll probably have to text them more than once. Some people more than once. So just so that's up front. Okay. So when it comes to scheduling, it's really pretty simple. So when I'm texting, I will say like, you know, I'll do my little script. The script is on our unit website under education. But I will, let me kind of look here on my phone. So basically what she'll say is, you know, yeah, I would love to get together and do facials with you and help you practice. So I say, okay, great. So I say, great, thank you so much. I kind of basically just asked her, given her my goal, and asked her to do a party for me to help me get my 30 faces in 30 days and help me practice. That's what you're going to say, helping practice. And she's going to say, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. So then here's your key with the scheduling, is you want to go right into getting a date. You do not want to say, great, when can you do it? You do not want to say that. You do not want to say, great, what's open for you? Okay, you don't want to give her this like big, wide open question for two reasons. One, it's not her business. Like she doesn't need to work for you. Like it's your business. Just like when you call your hairdresser or you call that your dentist, they have a schedule and they're going to give you their opening, right? Like if I call my hairdresser, she says, I could do it Wednesday morning or I could do it Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening. Do either of those work for you? I'll be like, yeah, Thursday evening. Okay, so that's what happens. The hairdressers would say, when do you want to come in? I mean, most of them don't. You know, they have a schedule. So do you. You're a business owner. You have a schedule. So that's what I say. I say, okay, great. Well, what works better for you, a weekend or a weekday? I have open, and I give her just a brief schedule for this week. I have open Monday evening, Thursday evening, or Saturday morning. Which works best for you? So I have a text. I'll write that out. So if I'm talking to her in person, same kind of thing. If I'm talking to her on the phone, same thing. Well, great, awesome. Thank you so much for helping me out and helping me practice. I have openings on, or do my appointments on Monday night, Thursday night, or Saturday morning. Which would you prefer? Which works best for you? And if I'm in person, I just kind of sit and smile. And she looks at her date book and she says, you know, probably Mondays are best. I'm like, okay, great. Would you like this Monday or next Monday? And I'm just giving her choices. I'm helping her. I feel like I'm helping her de-stress. Because if I just say, when do you want to do this? She's going to be like, thinking of her schedule. Have you ever had that happen where you're like, I don't even know. Like, I'm crazy busy. I can't do this. Okay, she's probably like, she might say, I'll let you know. If you hear that, I'll let you know. She's overwhelmed. she can't think about it. She may not ever book a date. So that's where you want to come back and say, well, I have I have openings on Monday or whatever, Monday and Wednesday. I have openings on whatever days you do. Give her like 2 or 3 choices. And then again, when she picks that day, she says, Mondays are really good. You say, well, what would this Monday or next Monday work better for you? And she's like, well, actually, I can't do it the next 2 weeks. Okay, no problem at all. Would you prefer to do the following Monday? And you give her the date. She's like, yeah, that actually works. All right, would you prefer like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock? What are you thinking? I'm flexible that night. If I'm texting this, whatever, but I'm asking this in these little groups, these little questions for the first, the general opening, and then the date, and then the time, and if needed, the location. So if it's a Monday night, like for me, and if your meetings are on a certain night, give that night as an option. So for me, I give Monday night, so she says Monday night. I say, great, could you be there at 6:30? Consultants come at 6, guests come at 6:30 for their makeovers. And she says, yeah, I can be there at 6:30. And I'm like, okay, great. This is when girls come to my studio or my director's studio, and we do kind of a group facial and makeover, and it's really fun, and we have prizes, and we'll have some snacks for you too. So I'll send you the address. Does that sound okay? So that's kind of what I say to that. But that's how you get the date and the time. And the same concept happens when you're booking a career survey. So you're at the end of a party. You've already asked the group to do a career survey. And when you're sitting down with them at the individual consultation, it's the same thing. So you're like, hey, great, I know that you told me that you would do a career survey with me. Thank you so much. So today is Tuesday. And you pull up my on your phone. You can book me, the youcanbookme.com website, which is on my I can text it to you, box it to you if you need it. But it is on our website under the Google Docs and other links. It's also in our Monday News email, so I'm happy to send that to you. But you pull that up and you say it's Tuesday. You want to book a career survey within like a day or two. Now I don't work on Wednesdays. That's my mommy day. So you look and say, would Thursday or Friday work for you? It's a quick 15-minute phone call. And sometimes I have girls say like, oh, I'm totally packed on, like, I can't do it Thursday or Friday. And I'm like, hey, what would you think if we did like give like a lunch break? Or you could do it like after you put your kids down for bed, like around 9. I just had this happen the other day, and the girl was like, oh, well, I could do it after I put my kids down to bed. She's like, I can't do it. Then I said, well, what if we did it like 8:30 or 9 after the kids are in bed? Oh, yeah, sure, and we did it. So sometimes you have to brainstorm with them a little bit, but you give them the options for a career survey. If it's Tuesday, how does Thursday or Friday work for you? So quick 15-minute like-ish phone call. And she says, Thursday's good. And you look at the youcanbookme.com site and say, well, you've already explained this with your director. So how does, you look at my schedule, how does Thursday at 8:30 work for you? That's an opening that we have. She's like, 8:30 works. You put it down. And then I tell her, great. We'll do Thursday at 8:30. I'm going to send you the link for the video to watch and write down a few questions. And I'll remind you also on Thursday that we'll be calling it at 8:30. So if there's anything that comes up, just let me know. But hopefully that works out okay for us to just do that quick phone call at 8:30 on Thursday. Sound good? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's kind of what you do with the scheduling if you give the choices. All right, so to wrap up with your homework, here's your homework, is to go on our unit website and to watch MK University Part 2. MK University Part 2. There is a handout to go with that as well. MK University Part 2 is starting on the training on how to actually do your party. Opening the party, how do you greet your guests at the party, how do you get the party started, what do you say to get things started, and how to actually do the beginning of the party. So that's MK University Part 2. It's on the homepage. If you kind of scroll down, you can see that, and pull up the handout and use the handout to kind of go along with it. It's about 40 minutes, so you may want to split it up, or you may want to just do it all at once. So that's your homework, MK University Part 2. And then your other homework is to invite your first guest to a local guest event. If you're in Phoenix, I think Karen, you're in Tucson. If you're here locally with me, invite your first guest to to a local guest event. That will help you towards your 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That will help you towards your sales. It will help you towards your referrals. It will help you towards booking career surveys, and it will help you towards um, new bookings. And the way it will help is because your director will work for you. She will work for you, and you get trained by watching her do it as well, like hands-on training. And so, whether it be like a Monday night event or a Saturday event, be sure that you look and see when you can start inviting your first guests and get that scheduled. So that's your challenge for today. And look for later on today. I'm going to be sending out, like I said, one of my to-do lists is to finish out the prizes. So there is going to be a completion prize. So when you complete these 6 weeks, and there's going to be a prize, and when you also complete the homework, there's 2 separate prizes. There's going to be another prize. So be sure that you let me know that you've done the homework as well. And look for that either tonight or tomorrow. And then we do have our unit meeting, virtual unit meeting tonight at 8:30. Will also be a half hour. And I went a little bit late here today. Sorry about that. But our meeting tonight will be 8:30 Eastern time. It'll end at 9. So I know that's 6:30 to 7. You do have 24 hours to watch it. It is recorded if you can't be on it right at that exact time. So, all right. Thanks, ladies. Let me know. Box me. Let me know you were on this so I can give you recognition, and let me know any questions. And, of course, as you do your homework, let me know that. All right. Thanks.